make the change now, because our country will go down the pan, and what will happen is it will become overrun by people who have had enough.
So Eddie Hearn, the world-famous British boxing promoter, recently spoke up following the recent series of violent events that have rocked our country and caused many to realise that tensions are at an all-time high and Britain is in a dire state indeed. We had the violent riots in London following unrest in Bangladesh, more violence in Leeds, and then the horrific stabbing at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class, resulting in the tragic deaths of 3 innocent young girls and many others injured. We have all been sickened with these recent events, and this includes Eddie Hearn. Just listen to what he had to say.
Spoke to my dad today and I said to him, I can't believe what happened in Southport. And he said, what? And I said, are you joking? And he's like, what? What happened? He said 2 or was it 3 kids lost their lives, and in a mass stabbing of just these young girls that were at a Taylor Swift dance class. He said, you're joking. And I just said, Dad, like, how bad is it that something like that can happen? And he, who reads the news, right, he hasn't even seen it. Like, we've become so desensitized to this stuff. And it's really making me sick as a parent that my kids, and, luckily they're 14 and 11, but the younger kids, the world that they could be being brought up in terms of our country. Like, what the has happened to our country? And I just don't understand. It's like, why are you allowing this to happen? I don't understand. Like, what normal person doesn't turn around, not today after what's happening, but 2 years ago, and gone, we need to make a change. We can't allow people to walk our streets with knives. And, there's a lot of talk about immigration and all this kind of stuff, and I'm not going to get into it. The fact remains, our streets need to be safe.
Look, the laws aren't good enough, are they?
But the reality is, whatever the problem is, it needs to be solved.
And the man is absolutely right. What on earth has happened to Britain and British society that such horrific events like the Southport attack are now normalised to the extent where millions of British citizens are still unaware that the event even happened? A few decades ago, this would have been national news for weeks. All they see is our cowardly, limp-wristed Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, going on live TV, taking the knee and blaming everything on the so-called far right, saying that it is in fact they who are the violent ones causing all of this unrest. It is a disgrace, and Britain really is on the edge of becoming a failed society. We are more fragmented and divided than ever, and a national crisis, unlike in previous decades, would no longer result in some form of national unity, but instead national division. Things are really not looking good. What do you all think about the recent opinions from Eddie Hearn? Do let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe.